What is up, everybody? It's Verse TV here today, and we had to talk about this crazy review from the France division of IGN. How they gave The Last of Us Part One remake they gave it 100% score, a perfect score. But in the review, they said if we were being honest, we should give it a 70. So this is a crazy review right here. People have been talking about because it's so bizarre and wild that they know the game shouldn't get a perfect score, but we're gonna go with it just because it's Naughty Dog. So this is what IGN France stated on their August 31st, 22 review. If we were to judge Part 1 only as a remake, which doesn't bring anything gameplay or story-wise, the score would be a 70. But at the end of the day, the Naughty Dog masterpiece is getting its best version yet, so it could be anything else than a perfect 10. Wow. In the review, you state it should be a 70, but you gave it 100 anyway because it's a Naughty Dog. That is just wild. So what this tells me is that the 70 is the honest score he would give this, but because Sony likes to blackball people if they don't get really amazing scores, they blacklist certain companies, they blacklist certain websites. That's why he has to give it 100, which is very pathetic from both sides of view, from either Sony side and IGN's France side. But yeah, this is crazy. People have been talking about this because this is a wild review where they just blatantly say that this shouldn't get a perfect score. But wow, let's just see what people got to say about this. Translation: the score deserves is 70, but I'll give it 100 so that PlayStation does not blacklist IGN. So anyway, I started licking. Licking the boot. Wow. All these sites want media access. Also remember when Sony was unhappy by some reviews at some point. I am not saying that this game should get 70s or hate, by the way, but 100s again. Did Skyrim get 100s in all of its releases? Nope. Neither did Gears Ultimate Edition. And I actually gave you a multiplayer mode with the Gears Ultimate Edition, but The Last of Us didn't give you a multiplayer mode and it's getting 100s. That's just interesting. So it's a 70, the initial confusion versus the further confusion. That's what I read. If I was to give an honest review, it would be a 70. But because it's Sony and I don't want to get blacklisted or lose the extra money, so I have to give it 100. I may be wrong, but that's what I read. Can't say that I'm even surprised at this. So this is from Metro Game Central, who gave the game an 8 out of 10. A completely pointless remake, one of the best games of the last decade, except with only half the content, only at double the price. He still gave it 8 out of 10 though, even though he says it's a terrible purchase, but still give it an 8 out of 10. That makes no sense. These reviews about this game are kind of wild in general. This review should be deleted off Meta and IGN France. Shouldn't be taken seriously ever again as objective review sites anymore. Damn near shameful. IGN France is a fraud alert. Okay. So basically it's just a 70, but we're focused to put a high score on it. What the actual F? Talk about contradicting yourself. Sure, that's why if this review had given it a 70, Sony would have blacklisted them and IGN France would have fired them. Wow. So what is this? This says it's official reviewers that gave The Last of Us 2 positive reviews were afraid of being blacklisted by Sony and had to keep with good terms with Sony. Wow. IGN literally is Sony Simp Central. What do you expect? Yeah, if that's the case, that because it's the same game, shouldn't these games get higher scores too because it's the same game but better graphically? That didn't happen for these games, but there's a lot of contradiction and hypocrisy when it comes to Sony games. He's right. A game reviews has to focus on reviewing the game itself and not criticize it for being unnecessary or expensive. Really? I think you could do a review and talk about the price that you got to pay for the game or why it's like it shouldn't be made to begin with. Price is a factor. Always you get a very good game, but if the price is obviously over other games that are equal to a better quality, it's an important thing to know if it's worth. In this case, it's the same game republished 2 times at full price. Embarrassing. That should ensure that IGN continues to get those Sony checks landed for at least another month. It's just wild, bro. You literally gave the game a 70 in the paragraph, but you gave it a 100 score overall. Like, that's just wild. This is exactly why this industry is evolving into a complete cluster. I would normally give this a C minus, but because it's Naughty Dog and Last of Us is an A plus, bias much. So it's actually a 70, but they're afraid of what Sony would do if they gave it an honest score. So instead, they give it a 100. Makes sense. He calls IGN France a clown. Reviews like this are a joke. So are the opposite ones. This innovative and completely fresh and a lot of fun, but only because of insert arbitrary reason here, a 70. LOL, full bootleg this article. You can't even make this stuff up at this point. I remember IGN giving the GameCube ports of Resident Evil 2 and 3 two of the greatest games ever made 5s on the basis that it was a definitive version, but it was the same game and that warranted a 5. Times have changed. So apparently they gave the Resident Evil ports, Resident Evil 2 and 3 ports a 5 because they were the same game, but they give this game a 10 because it's the same game, which is prettier graphics. Please don't blacklist us. Look, we will give you a 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's kind of sad, bro. It's like you gotta lie to people just to keep getting review copies. That's kind of pathetic. Such Sony slurpers. What in the entire F? Weirdos. What kind of review is that? Even more evidence that the Metacritic is literally worthless. What in the Sony hell is this BS? Then this guy says the S-Box drones whining because your slot pass trash isn't cutting it. That's look at the amount of deflection you gotta go with this. You don't address the topic being addressed on why this review site gave this game 100 when they said it probably shouldn't get that score, to be honest. So, but that's a lot of deflection right there. Real reviews, this game gave it a 70. Okay. In 2050 for the 200th remake of The Last of Us, IGN will always give it 100 to their sponsor. Come the F on. Why don't we hear this on Xbox titles from IGN France or all the other so-called objective media? This is not a good look. Yeah, this is just wild. I guess a little sad at this point, like because they gotta be the first ones to get the review out, so they can't upset Sony. They take away the review copy privileges or whatever. But it's just so pathetic. At the end of the day, super pathetic. Like, geez. Real score has a 7, but since this is a remake of our masterpiece, it can't be scored anything less than perfect. You can't make this S up. Exactly why I don't take these reviews serious. The way they be deep there on Sony is wild. Damn, I have no words. Facepalm, IGN France are just bootlicking. Yeah, at this point, can you really take a lot of these major review sites seriously at this point? Because they don't want to upset one of these major companies, so they're going to give these games really high scores. So it's kind of a joke at this point. It's really a joke. But yeah, I'm gonna conclude it right here. This is kind of pathetic. I kind of touched on this before in another previous video, how like none of these other websites kind of touched on like the controversies with this game, but just gave it like perfect scores. And there's an example of it right here that people are just talking about right now, because this is a crazy review right here. You said the game should be 70. That's like the real score. You probably get it, but it's 100 because in code they don't want to upset Sony. So definitely want to see your thoughts down below about this. Leave a like for this video. And as always, thanks for watching, and peace.